Hi there, beautiful souls. Welcome back, or welcome to The Hawk and I. My name is Lana Zelinsky, and I work in the spirit dimensions. As always, in all my videos or on my live feeds, simply take what resonates, and you're welcome to leave the rest right here. Happy Monday, August 28th. Here we are, start of another week. I have quite a bit to talk about today. Lots of interesting channeling this morning. Um, Not quite sure how I'm personally feeling about it, but we've got some interesting things to talk about today. I'll give you all a moment to come on in and make yourself comfortable. I have a little bit of time this morning. Good morning. Come on in. Happy Monday. Welcome. I hope everybody's doing well and had a restful and joyful weekend. Hello, here we all come. That's it. Hi. Hello there. So here we are gearing up to a big full moon, a big blue moon, a super moon. I know I've talked about it a bit last week, but there's a lot of stuff that's coming in this week energetically. So it's going to be a very interesting week. And one thing that has come up is a lot of surprise changes, shifts, and awakening. And we've got some particles that are kind of like floating around. Particles of our past is how spirit kind of gave it to me this morning, and you may be feeling a lot of things. There's a lot of emotions and a lot of energy that is kind of brewing. If you haven't felt it over the weekend come in, it's probably going to come at you full force in the next day or two as we gear up to this big blue moon that's coming in. We also have lots of planets in retrograde this week. There are 7 planets that are all in retrograde, so we have a big bag of mixed energy going on and it feels quite loud to me. It feels like it's just coming in like, I don't know, it's almost like a freight train coming in energetically. Making peace within yourself, making peace energetically is kind of where we're kind of being asked to kind of navigate through. These particles of our past are going to be floating around. So it may come into you as thoughts of things that didn't work out, or relationships that didn't work out, or perhaps you're going to be struggling with the self-care, or being gentle with yourself. That's whatever you've been kind of working through, all that life stuff, all those feelings, all those emotions, they're going to be kind of floating through like little particles. I seen it when I was meditating as like little wee lights, like, the dust, how dust floats around a room. That's how it felt, and that's how I seen it in my meditation this morning. But what we're being asked to do with this full moon is to make some space. I don't think, and I reflected a little bit today on full moon energy. Full moon is always a great time to release. Full moon is always a great time for intentions, but this felt so amplified for me. I don't think I've sat in a full moon energy quite like this before. So it's going to be really interesting on how we all navigate through a lot of this. There's also a whole psychic emotional level upgrade for many of you who are going to navigate through letting go a few things, and it's going to become a very more clear picture of the direction that you want to go in. But it's also a lot of growth as far as your spiritual connection for yourself towards the spirit dimensions. That's going to come in near the end of the week, where you may feel a lot more clarity, a lot more intuitive space. Is kind of We're making room, is what spirit showed me. We're making room for a lot of that. And before we get to that, we have to go through this deep, very deep letting go space. It's deeper than I've ever felt before. And sometimes it felt a little bit mucky. It's like we're mucking through a lot of emotions, or a lot of particles of the past seem to really need to, and I guess we always need to let go of our past learning, but this seems to be coming at us with a louder force, with a great big push, with just one more huge let it go, if that makes sense to you. um Release work can be very emotional, so just keep that in mind as you navigate through the week, as we lean into this full moon, and really lean into ways of cleansing, ways of letting go. And for everybody, that can look very, very different. I'm going to try something new with this full moon. I'm going to do some, and this is just I mean, I'll share it with you, but this is kind of what I feel I need to do. I feel like I need to and chuckle if you will, it's okay to laugh. I need to On the night of the full moon, I need to get a big bucket of water, and I need to put my head in it. I feel like there's like this aura cleanse that I need to kind of process and go through, just to give myself almost like a full moon head wash, if you will. I feel like I need to submerge. And for me, there's probably some particles of the past that are kind of floating around that I need to kind of one more time give it that space of letting go. I will get to some of your questions and some messages once I get through the energy update. So I will get to the comment section very shortly. Create some space. This is what's going to be coming up with this letting go. We're going to be feeling a little bit lighter. We're going to feel like, oh, I've got some room. I feel like we're coming into that and there's a new space that's going to be at the end of this full moon release. And I feel like we don't need to rush to fill it. And that's exactly what came to me during my channeling was enjoy the space. Just enjoy this new space that you're going to be coming into. Change is always coming at us, but we don't need to rush right now. We don't need to rush through it. We don't need to rush through filling that time or filling that space. And sometimes for some of us, space can have that echo feeling with, well, where is everybody? And it can feel that way. It can feel a little bit out of sorts, but don't rush to fill it. If and you might not understand all of this until after the full moon. We may have to talk, a little bit more about this feeling. But when you think about all the things that we're going to be letting go in this full moon, when you really kind of lean in there, it makes sense to me when I kind of process it. There's going to be this space around us where we're going to feel the need to hurry up and get back into something new. We're going to feel that whole, and just take your time. Give yourself some time, give yourself some space, and be gentle with it. When we're letting go, when we're kind of processing with all these particles of our past, it brings on this emotion, and it really helps us to navigate through that and just take a pause. You might not feel like being around crowds. You might not feel it like entertaining. You might not feel like being part of a big group of something. Just enjoy the space. Give yourself some time. um, we also may feel, as we navigate through some of this, and I'll probably talk about it maybe a little bit more on the Friday's session here, but I really feel that there's going to be this increased love from within. It's almost like getting a whole new perspective and a whole new understanding, and it's going to bring in more of that love energy, that unconditional, that love space. We're going to be shifting into that near the end of the week as well. So a few things that you can do to prepare. Let's just kind of back up a little bit. So what can I do to kind of work through this intensity with this full moon? If journaling resonates with you, perhaps writing what you want to let go of and giving it to the full moon energy, whether burning it or just reading it and letting it go. I'm really feeling pushed to cleansing, to like, so whether that be cleansing baths or smoke can be very cleansing. I'm leaning more to water for me. For me, whatever reason, that's the way I need to go. I'm also going to make a large amount of moon water. So I'm going to get some glass jars out underneath the full moon. I'm actually going to go for a couple days, the day before, the day of, and probably even the day after. And for whatever reason, I'm feeling like I'm going to need that full moon water to recharge me as I navigate through a lot of the new space that's coming in. So full moon water, you can drink it, you can mist yourself with it in a spray bottle. You can use it as a cleanse for the ongoing months that come up. Giving yourself some time in meditation. Perhaps music is a great way of releasing too, moving your physical body, being able to just kind of move it out. I need to move it out. Depending on how you navigate through these particles of the past, the old version of yourself, the past situations, the past learning. I feel it really loud coming in this week. I just feel like we need to move through it and giving yourself permission to do that. Sometimes we will push back. We'll push back. I don't want to think about that again. I don't want. But if it's floating around, it needs to be let go. So just kind of be aware of what's floating around you. And as always, remember other people are going through the same thing. So other people may be emotional around you. Your household may have this higher emotion. There may be more tears. There may be some shorter fuses. There may be some things coming up, and perhaps you can do some cleansing in the household too, as a collective, as a family, or whoever that you reside with. There may be some of that. Now, but the other thing that I want to talk about really quickly here is I feel digestion is going to come up this week. I like perhaps you're it's going to have a sensitive stomach. Things may move through you a lot quicker. I a lot of achiness as part of what's coming up, coming through us that needs to kind of be let go. Just be aware of your digestive system. If you start to notice your tummy's a little bit sensitive, your physical body is saying, "I need to let go of that too," because we do hold things in our physical body as well, not just in our energy fields but in our physical body as well. A lot of grounding will help you navigate through that. And again, with the releasing. So listen to your physical body, listen to that space within, and just kind of give yourself that time to say, what do I need to let go of? So I hope that I've explained that to you. I channeled literally 2 pages of stuff, just little notes, little pinpoints. Give yourself your own opportunity. Make I'll use the word ritual. Come up with your own ritual that resonates with you on letting that go. Right. So if anything that something that I've said doesn't really resonate with you, come up with your own thing. Interestingly enough, I felt the need this weekend to do a lot of cleaning up in my house. I shampooed my carpets, I cleaned some windows. I was really kind of trying to move out old stuff. And that was even before I sat with spirit on the energy update for this week. And as I reflect back over my weekend, I was already subconsciously preparing for what needs to be done with this energy. It almost felt like, I guess the best way for me to describe it is it almost felt, like when we get close to New Year's and we kind of want to, set new intentions or, like make room for the new. It's happening now at a higher pace or at a louder pace. And I just really hope that some of you can take the time to enjoy it. Spiritual work and spiritual awakening and kind of cleansing, we it can be a very exciting time, but it can also bring up a lot of old things. There is a huge shift coming. I really feel that coming in. I'm not 100% sure when it's coming in, but there's a lot of new changes and a lot of new opportunities and a lot of new growth that's coming in collectively around us, but we have to make space, and that space that we need to clear up is all those particles that are floating around. So take a look at what's floating around. Just kind of pause once in a while over the next couple days and say, what is that I'm feeling? What is that energy and what is that emotion? Okay. um 10. Oh, that now that you mentioned the feeling of coming up to New Year, I feel like that's what I've been feeling lately. Lots of excitement and newness. 100%. Was the best way I could describe it. It just felt like it felt like that New Year's Eve celebration. In order to kind of navigate what's coming up, it's really important that we do some clearing work this full moon, and it's a powerful one. Like I mentioned, I don't think I've ever, for me personally, perhaps I'm gonna have the biggest release of my life, but I've never felt it so intense with the full moon energy. The closer that we get to it, I haven't felt it that intense before. So, and perhaps, some of you can feel into that as well for your own selves. How intense have you been feeling? And sometimes it's about the things that are around us too. Have people around you been a little bit more emotional or intense? Has there been that intensity? And for sometimes we can gently and lovingly guide people with sharing how we're navigating through all these particles of the past. Just kind of because there's going to be this space that we need to create, and we will understand it later. I know sometimes I'll say to spirit, "Can you tell me now?" Well, and spirit's like, "No, step one, you do this first. Step two will come next." And that way we can kind of live in that power of now, living in that moment, living in the space, and it's going to be a lot of emotions. So if you feel the need to cry, if you feel the need to move your body, if you feel the need to journal, whatever resonates with you, please do that. Diane, absolutely walking on eggshells with people. Other people, it can be tough to navigate through other people. And one thing that I always remind myself is they're going through something similar too. And depending on where they are in their own awareness and their own growth, and they're learning that too. So, perhaps it might be a little bit for some of us. I'm going to stay in my own lane. I'll give some people some tools if they're open to it. And speaking of open, I do feel like this heart space opening that's coming. It's going to be huge, and I think it's going to be an interesting alignment as to what's going on with the physical world. A lot of heart space opening, lots of heart space. So with your heart space opening, that will bring us into a really new, glorious collective space. All right, I'm going to scroll on. Jennifer Kraus. I was harassing my husband about what's next. Pressured pause for sports and camping. But what about us? Yeah. So, making clearing up that space. Clearing up that space. A lot of people are commenting on walking on eggshells. Oh, walking on eggshells with my own emotions. Very interesting. Thank you very much for sharing that. And I think when you're feeling that, give yourself the opportunity to sift and sort through your own emotions. Sometimes sometimes I don't want to use we're the problem, but sometimes it's sometimes it's us, right? So we're working through that. So use the next couple days to give yourself that cleanse. I'm going to be interested to know why I feel the need to submerge my head under the full moon. There's probably something floating around here that I need to release and cleanse, and I'm just going to allow it. That's just what's resonating for me this time is to submerge my head. And when I say it, it kind of brings up that a bit of a chuckle. But I'm just going to trust it and allow it. So whatever resonates with you, Mel. This for sure resonates with how I feel lately. Good. I'm really happy to hear this is resonating. Um, Lana, there's been some spiritual things presented to me. Could you ask Spirit if it's something I should pursue? It's very new and a little scary to me. Arlene, I do feel that I need to take this one step at a time. I also have to push you into your intuition. Do you feel ready? And is this resonating with you? I really feel like I've got to kind of navigate that. It feels good to me, but I need you to feel in am I ready? Is this where I want to go? And kind of feeling that energy in that space a little bit. All right, I'm going to scroll up here and see there's lots of comments this morning. Great. Um okay, here we are. Let me just scroll down. How can a person know what spiritual gifts they have? Okay, Chin, very good question. So we all have amazing spiritual gifts. We are all connected to a divine energy, and we all have our own abilities to navigate through our own gifts. One thing that really helps there with you is to kind of go exploring. So, on my website, I am offering an introduction to the spiritual journey. It is a beginner's or a refresh for people who want to lean back in there, and it kind of brings you into this space of starting to navigate through that. Now, navigating through our own spiritual connections, like I said, I like to explore it. I like to because you can grow and develop things that you may not have even known that you were able to do. We are all connected to source energy. And we all work very differently. Is the other thing that I want to talk about is we all work very differently. I do a lot of mentoring and a lot of teaching. I've got a few of my students that I've seen that are on here today, and I've never seen two people, and I've been teaching for a number of years, and I've never seen two people with the same gift. Maybe similarities, but but very different in on the other spectrum. Quite often, I always say, start with your intuition. We all have an intuitive muscle. It may need a lot of development or a lot of trust, but quite often, just learning how to trust your intuition is a great place to start. There are many books. There are meditation is a great place to start. Um, I would start exploring, and I still explore. I still try new workshops. I still try um, new development programs. I am very much always in that growth and that learning space, and it has brought me to some amazing opportunities and some amazing learning experiences. And some of it resonated with me, and some of it didn't. And if it didn't resonate with me, I was very much okay with that. That's okay. That's not where I connect or how I want to where I work, and that's very much okay. Go on some exploring. I hope that helps answer that question a little bit. Um, a lot of validation here. Joy, can I ask to pray for my daughter? She starts school tomorrow after 2 years of bullying, and we're hoping for a new start. Will also be my intention for this full moon. Joy, what also helps there is I and if it resonates with you, pick it up. If it doesn't, leave it here. It's perfectly fine. I like to bring in protection energy. So I like to and I've got a school age little young person as well. I like to bubble and protect. I have taught her how to protect herself energetically. Visual resonates with crystals. There's a lot of protective crystals that she can carry. I also really feel that I need to kind of build that strength within her, like that spiritual energy within her of it's okay to stand in her own truth. I feel like that is a huge part there. I also feel that she's going back into school a lot more confident. I just feel like there's a lot more confidence in there. I also like to energetically cleanse, so perhaps using the moon water as an example if you want to cleanse after school. But I feel the protection there energetically. I think, and it's very powerful. I mean, I use protection energy all the time. I just even if I'm just going to the grocery store, because I'm such an empath and I'm a big feeler when I'm out, I will just visualize a ball of light around me so I don't feel other people's stuff. For many of us, most of us are empaths. We do have a lot of empathic qualities, not being able to feel. And it doesn't, I mean that with other people's energy, not being able to absorb it, or to pick up what's not ours, kind of thing. I hope that helps there. Maruna, my grandmother is in the hospital for more than 20 years. She's battled cancer and diabetes, and how she is a serious. And now she has a serious leg fracture. Will she be able to make it through the operation? Um, Maruna, I feel some caution there. They're not spirit's not showing me exactly the outcome, but I do have some caution. I do feel like a caution light there. And sometimes, and I'm very open and very honest with this, I have a lot of integrity. Sometimes I'm not meant to share the outcome of things sometimes, but I do know that she's surrounded by love and that she's surrounded by light, but I do feel a little bit, I have some caution there, a little bit of hesitancy, is what I'm feeling into that. Camilla, I had a meeting today that ended up being a group meeting, took everyone by surprise, due to miscommunication. Many of that people were shocked. Changing plans definitely felt harder than usual today. When we do lean into surprise or things that are changing, it does have that shock impact 100%. It can be quite shocking. One thing that I lean into, Camilla, is I will just pause. So give yourself a pause at some point today with, okay, wasn't really expecting that. Where's the learning and where is this going to take me? I need to kind of always be open to and of new opportunities are always welcome for my highest good. So I need to lean in there. We may not always understand. We may not always be in a space of being that open, but I need to put down the fear. So don't pick up the fear on this. Pick up. This is going to take me to where I need to go. That's what I would like you to work on picking up. Pick that up. Whatever's going to navigate through, out of my control. I can only control how I respond to it, and I'm open to new opportunities, new situations, new growth. Kind of lean into that space with that, Camilla. Um, Rubab, I'm pulled for you to open up my spirit animal pocket guide book. I have landed on the lark. So if you're new here to my page or my channel, this is the pocket guide to spirit animals. The entire message does not have to resonate with you, but parts of it should. So the lark, a lark is a bird, by the way. You're entering a cycle where you'll be completely happy and free of worry. Rather than looking at others, go inside to find the answers you're seeking. Whatever you're doing, try singing softly or whistling as you do. The words you use and how you use them will take an immense power. So be aware of whether you're speaking lovingly or harshly, as your words will have great impact on energy either way. Find your own power song by sitting in nature and ask your helping spirit to give you a song. Then let that melody of the words come to you as you sing them. Oh, I love that. I love that. That's amazing. Oops, I just lost my mouse. There we go. Um, Horizon Phoenix, how are the cold cases going? I'm learning. I'm learning. I'm taking my time with that process. I'm not giving myself more than I can handle. So it's going well, and I am learning. I've had some amazing experiences with that, and I'm navigating through that one step at a time. The remote viewing, I have been spending a lot of time with remote viewing. Spirit has pushed me to polish that, so I have been polishing my remote viewing skills and having a glorious time with it as well. And I've also been pulled with some of my mentoring students who they have been practicing with me with some remote viewing, but polishing my remote viewing skills has landed in my lap, and it's been quite fun. I do love remote viewing. Mila, I have a question. Lana, do you feel like my male cheer coach is annoyed with me? I want to visit the cheer gym to say hi to him, but I don't know if he is okay with that. Do you feel? Um, I feel that you need to be yourself. I feel like it's really important for you. I feel like you're going to be coming into some more. I'll use the word challenging, but it's not in a heavy way. I feel like you're being pushed, Mila, to really, really stand in your own power. If your intention is to, to say hello and to connect, I need to push you to do that. I also need you to kind of put down overthinking or worrying about other people's responses to you. Go to that loving space. Hello, how are you? And whatever people pick up, whatever they choose to align with, that's not yours. And I really feel that the upcoming weeks and months, I feel like you're going to be challenged a little bit in that. Can you really stand in that loving heart space? Can you kind of stand in your own power and your own beauty and let that shine? So, in order to avoid some additional challenges, start embracing that. I need to get you to embrace that. I hope that that helps. By the way, you have a beautiful light, Mila, and I need you to really feel that for yourself. um is it Arthur? Are there any messages for me? Arthur, I don't know if I pronounced that right. I'm sorry if I did not. What I really feel that I need to kind of navigate through with you with is I feel like I gotta lean you in more with your spirit guides. I feel like your spirit guides have been pushing you to kind of shift a little bit in trusting and allowing their guidance. So I don't know if you've been asking for things, asking for guidance, and not feeling like you're not receiving it. I feel like I've got to just kind of open that space a little bit and just kind of allow you to work on your connection with them. I feel like your spirit guides are wanting more from you as far as connecting with them, giving yourself some time to sit and just kind of listen, giving yourself some time in meditation, giving yourself some time in nature to simply breathe. And I also feel like there's been a lot of busyness. I can hear a lot of busyness, energy, a lot of busy, like almost like a high pitch busyness. It almost feels like a little bit chaos. So that either there's a lot going on, or you just haven't had time to practice that pause. And I feel like if you practice that pause, I feel like your connection to your spirit guides is going to really take root and really, really take hold and take you into new glorious spaces. I also feel with you that there's a lot of growth coming. I feel that like that spiritual growth, that higher self growth. I feel you coming into a new platform with that. And I hope that makes sense to you. Um, Jolene, let's go to the animal communication book, spirit guide book, and just see what we need to go. Whoops, just maybe there's a reason for that. Let me just go. The baboon. I I went to read something else, and the page literally moved to the baboon. You've been involved in some intense mental process and need to get grounded and back into your body. Your family needs your attention and your presence now. At this time, significant teachings will come about as a result of what you in will come about as a result of what you initially thought were foolish mistakes. Oh, that's interesting. Some learning of lessons there. That's interesting. Joe Smith, desperate for an update from my husband. He passed 6 months ago. How is he doing? Does he want to say anything to me? I'm with a decision. Maybe he can help. I just let me shift gears for a second, Joe. I just need a moment to kind of shift into that. Joe, one thing that I have to kind of acknowledge is he's extremely proud of how you're doing. So I feel that You have been overcoming many things. I feel like you've been, but I also feel like you're connecting with him. So either has he come to you in a dream? Have you felt him around you a lot more? I feel that you're connecting more because he's showing me a shift in your relationship. It's like you're learning how to continue to have that relationship with him. And I feel quite I feel quite connected is how I'm feeling. I'm feeling like you've got this powerhouse relationship growth. It's like you've kind of had this awareness of, okay, he's gone and things have changed 100%. But I also feel like you've been working on your spiritual relationship with that. And I feel that excitement. I feel that excitement from him. I feel like that push to continue that growth, to continue that momentum. He's also showing me the number 3. So either the month of March is significant, or there's I don't know, or 3. I don't know if there's 3 kids or there's 3 of you here, but he keeps showing me the number 3 as being very significant. Um, with this decision, I feel like you've got the reins on it. So I feel like you have a handle on it, that you have that knowing on it. And that's how he's showing me you know you have a handle on that situation is what he's showing me there. Jennifer Krause, Space and Grace, absolutely. This is resonating 100% with how I've been feeling lately. Rubab, I'm glad that is resonating. Diane Quinn, I can't. I feel so heavy. Need to let go. Diane, go back to what I said earlier about this big full moon release. We are in a huge opportunity right now to let go of those particles of the past, and whatever's floating around in your aura or in your energy fields. Now's a glorious time to work through some of that. And you know what? Diane, letting go is a hard one. It is probably, for many of us, letting go is probably the hardest thing that we have to do. It requires a lot of trust, and it requires a lot of feeling, and it requires a lot of forgiveness, and it requires a lot of love. It's a big one. Um, Kimberly, I took a break from work for the summer. After the kids go back to school, I want to fill that space. That being said, I'm extremely curious if my spirit guides have a message for me pertaining to a job in my future. Kimberly, have you been considering part-time? I feel like the space gets slowly filled, and I'm just being kind of pushed back into what I said earlier about don't rush to fill it. I feel like I need to kind of balance and bring in that joy of space. And perhaps I'm picking up a little bit on, yeah, I'm ready, but oh man, going back to work. I feel like it's part-time. And I feel, like do I feel you're ready? Yeah, but I feel like it's part-time work. I don't I feel like you're coming into a space where you're gonna have a little bit more control over your space, a little bit more control over time. And I think that, eventually that part-time space may be filled with full-time work, but I'm kind of leaning into that part-time space. I also feel you and I feel like I don't know if you're leaning into like the healthcare environment. So it may not be as a healthcare worker or as a nurse, but perhaps, in an environment where healthcare is I'm kind of leaned into that. Whether it be, in a food service department or in a housekeeping department, or with seniors. I just feel this part-time healthcare space around you. So I will leave that there for you to process. Kimberly, Kayla, I'm going to make the full moon water too. I love the full moon water. I also have a jar of it in my office space in Cambridge that I will often spray the space with. I'll put it in a mister, and rather than burning incense or sage, or I will often just mist the space with full moon as a cleanser. Okay, where are we going here? Cheyenne, literally still running around the house as I just got home from work. Kayla, oh my God, I cleansed my house yesterday, every doorway, entrance, at every room. Yeah, I went on a big cleanse too. I felt the need to shampoo stuff. So here I was at the shampooer and getting the windows done. I really feel for me, I feel like I've got a lot of clarity coming in. So I've been doing a lot of clean cleansing of lenses. I have also been asking Spirit to show me. I use that phrase a lot. Show me what I need to learn. Show me where I need to go. And how can I look at that situation differently? I've been really working on clarity. So That is, another little tip if that resonates with you. Jennifer, the joy of the school year feels easier sending a love intention. Very nice, Jennifer. Jolene, do you see any health financial issues arising for me? Is there any messages from spirit? I don't feel now, Jolene, if you have any health concerns, always lean into the medical world for help and guidance on that. I don't, I don't feel too much turbulence in that at all. But again, if you have concerns, make sure that you're talking to the appropriate people. I'm not picking up on a whole lot. I feel like some turbulence, but it doesn't feel like I'm up and down. I don't feel really, really, rough there. I don't feel a lot of caution. Finances, I do feel that we are all coming into an awareness of financially. I also feel that it's settling. Even though the physical world may not be demonstrating that to us yet. I've been leading more and more and more into manifesting and into abundance and into simple. So it depends on how you look at it. That's what the change of lens can do too, is depending on how I look at it. I feel I have to be aware of your finances, but I don't feel like I've got this big heaviness with it, if that makes sense. Kayla, I did too yesterday. I was subconsciously setting new intentions and clearing out the old energy. Wow, can't believe we did the same thing. Yeah. There's a lot of us pulling in collectively with the cleansing energy. So yeah. Tin, now that you mentioned it, the feeling of coming up to a new year, I feel like that's what I've been feeling. Lots of excitement. Cheyenne, I'm not cleaning my house. I'm more cleaning my soul. Excellent. Absolutely. I didn't do a whole look, and for me, I felt like I had to do that balance. My house is cleansed on a fairly regular basis of energy. I do it pretty much daily, but I just felt the need to get, and you know what it is? I think it is the nitty-gritty. And I think coming into this full moon, I just had an aha moment. I think coming into this full moon, we're coming into that nitty-gritty cleansing, that nitty-gritty of the like those particles of our past floating around, the nitty-gritty stuff, the stuff that we find hard to let go. Right. I think that's kind of where many of us will be leaning into that final nitty gritty, letting go kind of space, because we've got a whole new space coming in that I can't wait to sit with spirit to get more and more on. Um, it's the nitty-gritty. I'm not quite done there with that. Spirit was like, "Go back to that." It's that nitty-gritty stuff. The real hard stuff, the stuff that we just buried, the stuff that we just struggled to let go, the stuff that we really wanna hold on to because it's either safe or familiar, or it was extremely hard. Like, we've all been through things that were extremely hard. It's that nitty-gritty that we're coming into with this full moon. Um A lot of my energetically sensitive friends have been feeling the intensity too. I've just been cleansing and praying for everyone. Very nice. I love that. Okay, where do we have to go here? Oh, Kimberly, there's some validation. I was thinking about doing school online while working part-time. There we go, Kimberly. I really feel that part-time for you. So I'm happy that is something that's been on your mind. A little bit of validation there for you. Joy, get well soon. Sending some energy there for you. Hard freckles. Lana, call Lana. I've been struggling a little bit lately. I'm wondering if you have any messages from my spirit guides. Hard freckles. I really feel I'm not quite sure what you're pushing against, but I feel like you're pushing against something, because I really feel like I've got to talk to you, hard freckles, about the space of allowing and the power of now. And so I just feel like something either needs to fall back, and I just got to get you to surrender to it. Sometimes we will push really hard with, I have to fix it, I have to fix it, I have to I feel like I've got to bring you into the power of now with that. And I also feel like your spirit guides are holding you up, and I feel like you've got to trust and allow that growth. So more time chit-chatting with them, more time connecting with them, more time trusting. I really feel like I just gotta turn up the volume on that. I also feel like it's just this calming down. You know when a plane slowly starts to descend? You know, when you're coming in and you slowly come in and you feel the jerk of the wheels coming down, then you kind of do that landing. I feel like you're coming into that landing. I feel like you're coming into that space. And sometimes when we're navigating through that, we do kind of get ourselves kind of mucked up a little bit in that difficult landing, if you will. So as you're coming into your landing, just kind of lean in there full on with trust. I kind of love how spirit showed me that. Um Cheyenne, Lana, you're definitely right on the dot. I found an important trauma root that now know I have to let go. Funny, it's to do with vulnerability. It's one of my biggest trauma problems I have. Your awareness. I just gotta applaud you for your awareness. Being aware of where the need to applaud you and hug you and hold you, and being able to, now is a really good time with this powerful full moon. So with this full moon energy, you may be feeling that heightened vulnerability. So Cheyenne, whatever resonates with you with release work, tap into that over the next couple days, because I really feel we're coming into an incredible space energetically, and it's depending on how we view it, because sometimes we don't want to allow the tears, we don't want to let go, we don't want to go back there. So the volume of that can get turned up louder and louder, but if we can ease into it with this release and letting go and feeling it and making that space for it, it shifts very differently for us, right? So it's almost like, here it is. So it's if we hold on to resistance with how we're feeling, we continue to ride that same cycle. So if we can lean into with that feeling, if we can just tap into that space and be vulnerable with it, allow yourself to feel it. Allow yourself to let it go. Allow yourself to cry. Allow yourself to cleanse. Sometimes, and I am just as, I go kicking and screaming too sometimes. And it's part of my growth and it's part of my learning. I hope that resonates there with you, Cheyenne, and for many of us collectively here. Just allow yourself. You don't have to resist. Sometimes we go into this resistance, and it's just that stuff coming out. I'm also curious to know, journal for me, you guys, a little bit about this digestive stuff. I'm curious if anybody's feeling that, or if anybody's tummy's been off, or if certain foods aren't tasting the same, or you just, you don't want that anymore, or that acid reflux feeling. Just keep a little bit of a journal for me. I'd be curious to know what comes up. Last week we talked about the aches, and so many of you were like, yeah, so this bone hurts or this joint hurts on my body. I'm just curious with that, because it's just it won't leave my awareness with this digestion stuff. And perhaps the more I kind of think about that, what are you digesting as far as energy? Like, it's time to digest things too. It's funny how I get more and more, the more from spirit, the more that I talk about it, is what are you digesting? So that may, if you end up feeling some tummy stuff, just kind of pause for a moment and let yourself know, or ask yourself this question: what am I digesting? What, as things move through. Camilla, yes, my stomach's been very weird. Cheyenne, I'll let you know, my digestive system is super sensitive anyways. Okay. See where we need to go. I'm going to scroll back up. Peyton, does spirit know how I can help my sister? Peyton, I keep seeing is, it's like you've been offering her tools, and has she not been picking them up? Like, I feel like you've been offering help, offering guidance, offering assistance, and I can see, like, here, it's like almost like, try this, and I feel like I've got to continue to offer her the tools, but she's got to be the one to pick it up. So, just stay in your own alignment with it. She's in her alignment doing her learning. I can help you with your learning from my alignment. Keep offering that supportive space, but I don't get pulled in. Don't get too sucked in there, because you're going. I feel you, Peyton, as a big absorber, and absorbing that energy, or feeling like I can't do enough, or what else can I do? She's going through her own learning, and I feel like you're doing really, really well at offering the tools that she needs, continue to offer the tools from your point of alignment, if that makes sense. So continuing to support, making sure visual, and one thing that really will help, and this is quite often what I will do, is I will just sit very quietly, and I'll just use you as an example, okay, Peyton? So I'm gonna bring Peyton into my awareness. I'm gonna think about her and I'm gonna hold her in that loving heart space. And I have an empty chair beside me. And I'm just gonna invite you, Peyton, to sit beside me and let's navigate together side by side. And here's the tool that I can lay out for you. And if you choose to pick it up, great. If you choose not to pick it up, that's okay too. Just visualize that space beside you so that you can both stay in your own lane as you navigate through this, if that makes sense. Sometimes when it comes to other people, I'll touch base a little bit on this too, is, we want to help so bad, and we want to ease their pain, and we want to ease their learning, and we want to make it easier for them. And sometimes either they're not ready to see it, or perhaps they're still learning lessons, and that's okay. Right? How does source energy view them? They're learning lessons, and yes, it's tough, and they can navigate beside me, right? And it just helps with the boundaries, and it just helps with that navigation system. I hope that you found that helpful. Let's get some thumbs up if you're enjoying your time here with me today. We've had quite a few joining the live, so the thumbs up is much appreciated. It helps me understand if you're understanding, if that makes sense. All right, a few more and then I have to go. um Remy. Um, Remy, I'm pulled to just kind of ask. I'm pulled to two for whatever reason. I'm pulled to both my books this morning here. So let's see where we need to go. I've landed on the hummingbird. You need to be very flexible with the twists and turns your life will take in the next few days. Put more emotional sweetness in your life. You need it. Kind of taps into what we talked about with our emotions with this full moon. You're going through some very heart opening kinds of experiences. You quite naturally draw more love into your life. Openly express the love that you had and feel for those important people in your life. Give yourself the gift of as many flowers as you can. Spread them around your home and enjoy their sight and fragrance throughout the days to come. I love that. And let's just go to the angel number book. I've landed on 155. It's essential that you make some positive changes in your life. You've had enough of the present situations, and now it's time to take charge and do things your way. I love those messages. Wow. Um, Peyton, Highlander, this resonates very much. Thank you so much. That's exactly right. Thank you so much. You're very welcome, darling. 10, I had a weird experience where my tummy started acting badly around certain people, but that was fine. But was fine before that. As I walked back into my room, I felt completely fine. So is that a thing? Yeah, absolutely. I think sometimes we need to let go a lot of energy. So Chin, when you think about the experience with your stomach, was there anything with the people that you were connecting to that you need to let go of? I need to kind of tap into there. And sometimes we will get a heads up that the situation or this energy isn't great for us. And so, sometimes it's our higher self saying, you know what? You need to step out of this. So the fact that you trusted it and the fact that you noted that you felt completely fine, 100% that's a thing. That's your higher self connecting with you. That can be like a heads up from people, or sorry, that can be a heads up from spirit. There's something here that you don't need to be part of. Always trust that. Always trust that. Some people get it as an intuition or a knowing. I know I have to get out of here. I have to, some people it'll be a physical reaction to things. Kind of tap into that. What's being communicated here for me? And journal it, because journaling really helps that process. Sone, can you pick a page from your spirit animal book for me? Much love. Sure can. I landed on the rabbit or the hare. Whatever project you're working on, move quickly and remain flexible. Beware of anyone trying to trick or deceive you. Trust your intuition on that. You may be fooling yourself about some venture or relationship and not paying attention to the obvious signs. Pay closer attention to the cycles of the moon. Ooh, interesting. So, my question to you would be, Sone, do you have a lot to release? Because we're on a big release right now. So, pay close attention to the cycles of the moon and coordinate your activities such that it corresponds with the moon waxing and waning release respective stages. Hmm. Lots of releasing there. You'll be required to make some unexpected and rapid changes in direction in the coming days. Okay, where do we need to go? Cheyenne, I usually get cramps whenever their energy isn't good for me. I think there was a big trigger around a particular person, and a few seconds later, my tummy started hurting badly. And when I walked away, it felt better. You know, sometimes, Tin, I just want to kind of tap into that, Tin. I sometimes the and this is where I'm really feel to pull. Sometimes the best thing that we can do is to step back and walk away. Like sometimes that's the step that we need to take. Always come to your heart space with love. Heck no, is kind of where I will often go. Coming back to our heart space, but nope, this isn't serving me. The situation's not serving me. The person's not serving me. And sometimes we just need to kind of lean back in there with nope, not serving me. Right to the heart space, though. Go right to the heart space. Lovingly step back. Okay, where we need to go. 10. Interesting to hear other people's experiences. It's great, and that's one of the reasons why I love coming on here so much is it gives everybody a chance to chime in with, yeah, I felt that too. Yes, I can resonate with that. Yes, that makes sense to me. It does help to collectively come together with like-minded people. It's a huge, huge, huge energy space to kind of sit in and kind of bounce things off one another. Right. I think that that's so awesome that you guys can share. So when we're talking about those physical symptoms as well with certain people's energy. So what I want you to try if you're feeling that, I want you to try what I talked about with was it Diane who had her daughter that was going back to school? I want you to try some protection. So protecting you from the energy that's not yours, or asking yourself, mine, not mine. Nope, that's not mine. I'm not going to absorb it. I'm not going to take it on. And whatever resonates with you. Some people do really well with carrying a piece of selenite or a crystal to help kind of push back that energy. If crystals resonate with you, visualizing yourself in your own lane and that person in their own lane. The mine, not mine is a great tool to have as well. Not mine, not picking it up, not picking it up, or the visualizing yourself in a big ball of light, right? So just or like stepping into a rubber ball or stepping in, just kind of visualize that so that you're not picking up on other people's energy. It's a huge, huge help if you're picking up on what's not yours, right? Um, all right, let's see where we need to go here. So, Nay, the first part resonated with me so much, Len. I honestly cannot believe it. Have a project. I have to move extremely quickly in the following days. I love that. The spirit animal book and the messages from spirit. It's I don't think I've ever had used the book where nothing resonated with someone. It's always exactly what you want to hear. Cheyenne, the bubble works best for me, but it doesn't. But it doesn't do enough, sadly. So, Cheyenne, if the bubble doesn't do enough, try adding to it. Really try adding to it. And it does take a lot of practice with back in my own lane, not picking that up. It takes a lot of practice. I also feel that sometimes during the day, depending on how you're doing, in a work experience, for example, how are you utilizing your break? So are you taking a lunch break and doing a little bit of grounding? Are you taking a lunch break and recharging yourself? Sometimes if we are either fairly new at protecting our energy or not or fairly new at recharging, sometimes we do need to recharge partway through the day. I myself will find myself will do that in between my readings. I will do that. I will literally charge myself, replug in, cleanse myself. I will bring myself back to center. I'll reground myself. And sometimes I remember when I first started doing a lot of the spiritual work, it felt like it was every hour. It was like, oh no, back in my own lane. Nope, not going to feel that. No, not mine. Just kind of turn up a little bit of the self-talk and always come back to that heart space, especially when it comes to other people. Bless their hearts, they're learning their own stuff too. Right. So just kind of come into that space with it a little bit. 10, I try to bubble as well when I feel unsafe, but I feel the same way as Cheyenne. The other thing that really helps is when we connect with our spirit guides, so I bring my spirit guides to work with me. I bring my spirit guides in the vehicle with me. I ask them to help navigate that through me. But I also will practice, what am I needing to learn here? Because sometimes there's a lesson that spirit's trying to teach us, and those lessons often come from other people too. So sometimes, if you're doing all this protection work and energy work, and you're working on your heart space, and you're working on staying connected to spirit, just for a moment, ask yourself, okay, what's this person trying to teach me? That can be the other piece of it too. Sometimes they're trying to teach us something. People come to us on our path to try and teach us things. So always kind of lean into that too. What's the situation trying to teach me? Sometimes we can be triggered by somebody else's behavior, and it can be, I need to let this part of my experience go. Sometimes it's teaching us. So just keep your awareness open to that. Pause long enough and say, okay, what's this trying to teach me? What is this brewing in me? Okay? Now, Cheyenne, I always draw back and isolate myself a lot during breaks or work so I can recharge. Indeed. Good for you. Oh, there's Miss Nisa. Wesley. Well, things get better for me, especially on the financial side. Wesley, I feel like I have to um encourage you to, and I feel like a slow step process. So I feel it's like, okay, step 1, very very slow. Step 2. But I feel like I've got to slowly give you back your personal power. So I feel like I slowly have to ease into um taking the wheel yourself. 'Cause I just feel like there's a lot. I feel like I'm being held back. I feel like there's this hold back, but I do feel that things are going to increase as far as finances go, but I feel that you're going to create it. So I feel like I've got to get your creative juices flowing. I feel like I've got to get you to kind of navigate through your own creation. You create things very, very well, Wesley, and I need you to kind of start creating, but I need you to be very much okay with one step at a time. And sometimes it can feel, I know, here's how I feel like my one leg is made of cement. So I feel like I've got to slowly bring up that leg to take a step. And I feel like the cement leg, I don't feel it's you. I feel like it's like situational, if that makes sense. But I feel like one step at a time. But I do feel like you're going to move through that feeling, and I do feel like there's a lot coming, of good things coming. I just got to get you to trust the process, trust the process, trust the process. Kimberly, please, everyone, hit the like button for Lana. Thanks, Kimberly. I appreciate you mentioning that. Um, let's see where we need to go here. Profound as always. You're welcome, Wes. Jocelyn, does my dog have any messages or advice for me? Um, this is kinda cute. I suddenly felt, when a dog hangs its head out the window, I suddenly seen my head out the window with my ears kinda going at it and my hair kinda going at it. I feel like I really feel like that message here is, I've gotta get the wind in your hair. I've gotta get, like, that wind feeling, like, allowing that blowing, allowing that the wind to blow the dust off you, if you will. I feel like you're coming into this new space of freedom, but I feel like I've got to kind of get you in alignment with that by putting your head out the window, or perhaps in front of a fan, or just on a windy day. I feel like I've got to get that wind around you. It's a real interesting feeling that I'm getting. It's like I've got to blow off what doesn't serve you. I got to blow off the dust. It's kind of how I feel. But I feel like I have to do it with excitement, because I can see this excitement with, how when a dog puts his head out the window, it feels so good, and you can feel that satisfaction. Oh, I feel so satisfied. I feel like I've got to get that satisfaction feeling, which is really quite cool. I'll take a few more, you guys, and then I do have to motor on. Get on with my day. Uh, where do we need to go here? Dee Dee, my mom woke up with a heavy right leg today and arm too. Can't walk. Dee Dee, I need to get that checked. I I think she needs to get that checked. Does she also feel her back? My lower back feels like it's on fire. Is her back there as well? I just feel like I've got something going on with my back. But I feel like I needed to get this checked out today, Dee Dee. Um, Cheyenne, having the window open in the car while yelling along to a fun song. Yeah, 100%. Nurse is on her way. Good, Dee Dee. I'm worried there. Um, I'll, we will all send some love and some light and some healing, but I'm really pushed there with the medical world. Uh, Britt, I'm feeling a need to ask for a message of any sort today from the guide I have been feeling around me. Think it's a different one lately. Britt, when I lean in there, um, I'm just curious, Britt. Have you felt lately that every time you try to, I just see it as you know when you turn a door and it's locked. Have you felt lately, Dee Dee, that there's been every time you try and do something, it feels like that door's locked and that door's locked and that door's locked. I just feel like I just had that's kind of how I'm seeing. First of all, the new guide that has come with you is it's a divine timing thing. It's not that you're doing anything wrong, but I feel like there's a timeline that's opening up for you where it's like a really fast momentum now. It's like everything that you've been kind of like trying, and it's like, no, that's not working, that's not working, that's not working. It's about timing for me. And I feel like you've been kind of getting yourself ready. So have you been working on yourself? Have you been working on energy? Have you been working on new opportunities? Because I feel like there's a time thing that's coming up for you where it's just like, oh wow. And I almost feel like overwhelmed. Like, why is all this is coming at me at once? And the spirit guide's kind of going, way you go, pushing you forward with now it's time. There's just this timing that comes up for me big time with this timing. Does that make sense? You're feeling it correctly, Lana. Okay, good. Um, so sometimes when I see it, it may not be actual locked doors, but it may be like you're trying to do something and things aren't working out. But I feel like that's how I feel like I can't turn it. So I feel like I just can't turn it. And now I feel like boom, way you go. And it almost feels like well, everything was stagnant and still for so long, and all of a sudden now it's like boom, 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 boom. I can't keep up. That's how it's coming in, and I have to kind of like chuckle at it because when one thing that we don't always understand is the timing of things, right? So that's one thing, our biggest thing in the physical world, because our physical world is so connected to time. It's we want it now, it's happening now. Time, time, time. I just feel like things are coming into alignment. There we go. Lana, this is such a lovely community, and your messages have been warm and lovely. Thank you. You are very welcome. You're very welcome. Cheyenne, I'm now seeing your guide pushing you so hard that you're almost falling. Yeah, it was like that. That's exactly how I did it. Cheyenne was like, "Oh, way you go." So if I would just and I mean this lovingly. It's gonna come at you all at once. It really isn't come at you all at once, but it's time. It's like everything you've been working on, everything that you can kind of navigating through. It's like wide open now. Um, I'm over the hour mark, guys. Oh my goodness. I do have to get moving. So I'm wishing you all a great week. Remember what we talked about with this creating some space and just kind of letting go and kind of preparing for that full moon. Just kind of give yourself some time to navigate through that. I don't ever remember such a powerful feeling from a super moon and a blue moon. Full moons are always glorious and delicious time for letting go, but this just seems to be um more like larger. It feels larger and powerful. So take that opportunity. Really, really take that opportunity. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for the thumbs up. I appreciate and love you all for your support. And I'll talk to you all soon. As always, love, light, blessings, and have a spirit guided day. Take care, everybody.